Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ Review number 174. And right now, this evening on February 10th, the Dirt Sheets and Dave Meltzer are jigging, jiving, and dancing because Dynamite did 1.13 million viewers. The demo was up. It was as close to Raw as it ever was. And Keith Lee is in AEW. Celebrate good times. Come on. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome back, Noah Foster. I'll start with you. What's going on, man?
Not much. It's been good. Sorry if my microphone might be a little on or off, soft or loud, but hey, it's my 30th birthday, and I figure why not stop by and talk with some great friends in wrestling, like kind birthday wishes, and overall, it's been a very nice, simple day. Thank you, Walter.
Well, I'll come back to you when we start hitting these topics heavy and hard, and of course, Son is back, and guess what? You and Noah have a birthday, and it's today, February 10th, so just like with all the dirt sheets that love AEW, you guys are dancing, having a party. We just need bubbles and strobe lights and some drinks and popcorn. What's up, man? How's it going? Happy birthday, guys.
Appreciate it, and glad here to be joining with you guys here at NoDQ. Shout out to Noah, my birthday twin. So yeah, I'm blessed to be here another year and ready to spend it talking about some good old pro wrestling with you guys. And per my introduction, hey everybody, Son Goswaku here.
Now,
Gotta
you think
always
it's
have
possible? Hey, what's your favorite cartoon character, Noah? Disney or something that Son might know the impression of?
Oh boy, favorite cartoon character.
I wonder if that character could sing "Happy Birthday" to Noah. I don't know.
I don't think they ever sung "Happy Birthday" on Dragon Ball Z. I've always been a fan of Goku and Vegeta, the rivalry that never ends, and who's the strongest overall. But
all right,
thanks
well,
anyway.
It would be a lot of yelling. It would be like, "Happy birthday to you! Final birthday flash! It probably sounds something like that.
There we go. We got a little taste.
Exactly.
All right, well, hey,
Going Super
strap in and enjoy your birthday here on the NoDQ Review number 174. And guess what? Guess who's happy to be here
as always
for your guys' birthday?
Yes, happy. What's going on, fellas? I'm doing pretty good. I had an eventful weekend. Celeb Fest 3 this past Sunday, and then I was at AEW Dynamite last night. So, other than that, like I always say, let's get this ball rolling, baby.
How many AEW shows have you been to now in this past 6 months?
6 months?
Yeah.
I think this is the first one. No, 2.
What? Didn't you go see CM Punk's debut?
Yeah. So 2. No, actually 3, because I was in Pittsburgh just recently.
So are you saying they're forgettable?
No.
That's weird.
No.
Okay. Anyway, Aaron Rift. What's up, Aaron?
Hey-oh.
I'm doing pretty good. Virtue, when are we going to go to an AEW show together?
NoDQ meetup.
I like the sound of that.
It has to. The incentive is it has to be something like a NoDQ meetup, and I will participate.
All right. Well, maybe we'll have to make something happen for All Out this year in Chicago this coming August or September, whenever it is, the Labor Day weekend.
That'll be a wild ride, man.
Yeah, we had a great
I've never
time
been
in
to
Chicago. Well, it was a lot of fun when we went in 2018. We met up with Son, and we had a lot of interesting experiences going around the city of Chicago and grabbing some food. Always a fun time in the Windy City when it's not 20 degrees outside.
Nice, it's cold out here right now.
That's ideal. Yeah, it's cold here too in Michigan. Anyways, I have 2 words for Son and Noah Foster. Happy birthday. There you go. There's the graphics for you.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Break it down.
And I'm ready to get the ball rolling with this. We got some
All right.
topics as we get. Wait a minute, Noah. Since this is your 30th birthday, we got a certain premium live event coming up Elimination Chamber, and it takes place in.
Country redacted.
All right, had to get one of those in, and now let's go ahead.
Of
with
course.
Well, we're going to talk about the Forbidden Door in AEW, and how often can Tony Khan do this? It seems like it always pops a little bit of a rating. I celebrated that rating with the dirt sheets at the beginning of the show. So we had Keith Lee there. Now, Aaron Rift, you did a poll, right, leading into the show, and who won that poll? Was it Wyndham Rotunda?
It was, which of the following names do you think would be the best signing for AEW? And it was practically tied, but yeah, the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, Wyndham was slightly ahead of Keith Lee, but I mean they were very close, and the other two choices were way down. Braun Strowman was way at the bottom.
So I voted for Wyndham, but I knew he doesn't want anything to do with wrestling right now, okay? Or he would have already been back. But I figured it was going to be Keith Lee. And on Dynamite last night, we saw Keith Lee. And so we're going to go around the panel. I want everybody's thoughts on Keith Lee, the debut, right? Now, we know he's been off for a while, and you know how that goes with ring rust and performance rust and doing this again in front of a live crowd. He's a big boy, right? Nothing wrong with that. We used to always have big boys in wrestling. So I always, I see people saying the out of shape and stuff. Like, I'm an old school wrestling fan. I loved some of the big guys like Earthquake, Yokozuna. Like, I hate hearing that stuff. Who cares? If that guy can go out there, yes. If that guy can go out there and do his thing, big boys in wrestling are needed, especially in an era of smaller wrestlers. Now, also debuting on Dynamite. Getting some feedback here.
Sounds like a motorcycle.
But anyway.
Yeah, the neighbors upstairs are vacuuming.
Oh, okay. So you got a mute button, right? But I'm saying when they're vacuuming until it comes to you. But that's all right, Big G. I know you're happy. Jay White also debuted on Dynamite. A little backstage thing with Adam Cole, maybe planting some seeds. He's over here. He's contracted with New Japan. He's been doing some stuff in Impact. New Japan has something going on over here in the United States, and they're kind of using Jay White as that guy over here to try to build that up. Here's the thing. Was this just to get the Tony Khan's ass covered for him saying Forbidden Door, since the Forbidden Door is supposed to mean somebody contracted with somebody else, and technically Jay White is, because Keith Lee was just a debut. He wasn't with anybody. His compete clause was over. Noah, I'm going to come right to you. Thoughts on these two debuts? I don't have a problem with either one of them. And I think Keith Lee should, in the next year, get pushed right to the top of title contender. Just because I think that would be really good for AEW. So what do you think?
I definitely agree on the Keith Lee aspect because he is a draw. He is the heavyweight that moves like a cruiserweight. He is one of the most recognized names in wrestling and one of the more respected ones too. Right now, I thought his debut, the way they went about it, was perfect. It was a major pop. Isaiah Cassidy, he was a good contrast, smaller man versus big men here, to Keith Lee's style. And Isaiah Cassidy, he's quite a ring worker. So I feel the sky is luminous as far as Keith Lee's rise in AEW goes, and I hope it does bring a renewed spirit as he's gone to rough time. Whoop, that was weird. Host unmuted my. Oh, well, okay. Sorry, folks. Technical difficulties. Don't know what happened there. Botch.
That's all right. Keep going.
Oh, okay, y'all fine. That being said, yeah, I'm extremely happy for Keith Lee. And again, I think it's absolutely limitless towards the capabilities and the possible matches. Several of these people he faced during his time in PWG. Sammy Guevara. Is Kevin Dunn working this here? Sammy Guevara, Chuck Taylor, Heyman Adam Page, who's the current champion, John Silver, and Darby Allin, just to name a few. As far as the Jay White thing goes, it just feels like to me more so like you want that sort of following to keep following your product, and they subtly teasing this whole is everything fine within the Elite and Bullet Club? It might be the next Blood and Guts just waiting to happen. It might be long-term storytelling going all the way back to 2016 when Adam Cole was kicked out of the Bullet Club by Omega. So overall, I don't have a problem with either of these because there's a lot of suspension towards what's ahead in the future. And as far as Keith Lee goes, couldn't be happier for him. He, in my opinion, is going to be the champion, I feel like, literally within the next year.
Now, I'm going to say it like Son, I'm going to come over to you. Keith Lee would be really good at some point to be the face of AEW, whether he's a heel or baby face, because let's be honest, there will be no question to Tony Khan anymore as your company diverse. You put Keith Lee right up there at the top of your company. His fans wanted that in WWE, and for whatever reason that fizzled out, they released him. I'm not saying do it for the demographic, but damn, man, this is a perfect recipe for Tony Khan to get that guy from WWE and stick it back to them. Like, what do you think here? And by the way, I'm a big Jay White fan. Like, he's a guy I know people don't. New Japan, who the hell is he? I'm telling you, man, Jay White's somebody to watch. Even if your name is Mr. Tito, this guy has it. But, Son, what do you think?
All right, we got Keith, Mother Limitless effing Lee, and AEW. When you look at what this guy can do, the athleticism, the power, just fantastic. I enjoyed Keith Lee from the moment I saw him basically in NXT. So I didn't see him in the independent scene, but when I saw him in the ring, I'm like, whoa, he immediately got your attention. And then you see what WWE did and Vince, and it just watered him down. And seeing him walk out on AEW, it just felt like, man, this guy, he's got everything back that made him special. It was good to see him in the ring doing his athletic stuff. It was cool to see him that he didn't have to change his gear. So it was really cool. I enjoyed the music even more than what WWE changed it to. You know, obviously, Bass in the Glory was awesome in NXT. But yeah, I'm happy to see Keith Lee get another shot into like a sort of mainstream wrestling promotion. And I hope that AEW does push him to that next level. I hope that AEW can put this guy as a world champion and make him one of their big top stars. But as happy as I am for Keith Lee, unfortunately, AEW doesn't have the best track record to me from what I've seen over the past 2.5 years of basically booking bigger guys. It's kind of like they put them in really quickly, strong for the world title picture, and then they kind of just fade off, and then they get pushed strong again and then fade off. Hopefully Keith Lee does not fall into that category, because he's somebody who could have potential if booked correctly for a more mainstream casual audience. I don't know if Tony Khan is really focus on trying to get to that casual fan base. It seems like he mostly caters to the hardcore wrestling fans, but this is a guy you can definitely put up there. So we'll see what's coming. At the very least, I am much more confident he will be much better utilized in AEW than the WWE. And as far as Jay White goes, I don't really follow New Japan Pro Wrestling that much, but I have heard a lot about him. So even to someone like me who doesn't watch, I know, like, oh, I've heard of this guy. So I imagine he must be a beast in the ring and another great pickup for AEW. So some good things looking forward to, and hopefully AEW keeps the momentum going. I heard they got, is this like their second biggest rating they've had since the debut?
Third or fourth. It's the biggest one they've had since September.
Okay, so
I'm glad
I hope
someone
that
follows
Tony
that, because I
Khan-
don't.
All right, so I hope that Tony Khan does a good job of seeing, okay, we got all these viewers came in. What can we do now to maintain these viewers so that the company can continue to move upwards?
You know, and the thing is with Keith Lee, someone in the chat was like, he's far from a WWE guy. Yeah, okay, Ring of Honor guy. What do you, indie guy? Okay, whatever. But why not? Like WWE, right? All of the Keith Lee fans said WWE failed him. So my point is, Tony Khan on a silver platter can cater to those fans and stick it to WWE. Aaron, Big G, just wait a minute here. I'm gonna go to Aaron because I saw some super chats roll in.
All right, we got quite a few here, and I know Big G was there at the show in Atlantic City. He can give us his live perspective on how the crowd reacted to the big debut.
They might still be vacuuming over there, so we'll give Big G a little bit.
All right. Well, anyways, we'll get to these super chats. And by the way, Psycho Jet Black, we had one that I did not answer from one of the recent streams, and I will bring that up later. We do have it ready to go. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. He says, "What sucks more, the vacuum or Ricochet?"
There's the hater.
The vacuum, because it's interrupting our live stream. Ricochet just brings us entertainment, whether it's for the right or wrong reasons.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Carlos.
This isn't going to end up Ricochet's out of the WWE.
Oh, it'll continue past that. You know it will. Carlos, thank you, Carlos. He said, "Didn't Keith Lee almost die when he took time off from WWE. I'm happy for the guy. He was the perfect man to take the title off of Roman Reigns. Changed my mind. Well, Virtue, you're the biggest Roman Reigns supporter. Do you think WWE missed the opportunity with Keith Lee? Do you think he could have been that guy, or is it really hard to say?
Randy Orton beat him in 5 minutes, and I'm like, holy crap, Vince McMahon sees something in this guy, and it just all unraveled from there. I could have seen him get to be a major player in the main event scene in WWE. I don't know if he would have been a WrestleMania headliner, and that's all part of that whole Triple H NXT problem that just never evolved with Vince McMahon. So I would say he could have got close, but not to that main Roman Reigns level. And I don't know if that would have been just Vince McMahon or if Keith Lee didn't have the mic. He doesn't have the mic skills, right? Neither did Roman, but Roman's adapted, right, and evolved with Heyman. It's hard to say, but like Keith Lee, Tony Khan's got something right now, maybe, perhaps.
Yeah, I agree. And I remember the Royal Rumble when Keith Lee came out 2020 and he got in the ring with Brock Lesnar, and he looked like he was a guy that could take Brock Lesnar in a fight. Not many people can stand next to Brock Lesnar and look like they can go toe-to-toe with him. Keith Lee was one of those guys. He looked impressive next to Lesnar, and we'll see what happens with Keith Lee and AEW, but I definitely think it was a great start. Mr. Tito is here, retired NoDQ columnist. He said, Keith Lee's conditioning and heart health scare me.
Agreed.
Well, yeah, Keith Lee did have the issues last year, and one would think that he has been medically cleared. WWE brought him back. I don't think they would have brought him back if they were really concerned about his well-being. Tony Khan is using him, and I'm going to go ahead and think that he is okay, and they're not going to be reckless and have him wrestle when he could be putting his health at stake. And I thought he looked fine in the match. As long as he's able to go out there and do his moves, I think that it's fine if he doesn't look like he's in the best cosmetic shape. I think he did everything that we were hoping to see from him. I thought he looked fine. I know people were trying to say, oh, he didn't look good. He looked too big. He looked out of shape. I had
notice I didn't even go there, Aaron. I didn't even go there because again, I think some people do nitpick a little too much with some of that stuff.
Yeah, I had no
that's
issues.
the problem with the internet wrestling community.
I had no issues with his performance on Dynamite. Now, we'll see how things go with him on a weekly basis. Can he keep up the pace for the long term? That remains to be seen. I mean, we've had plenty of guys come in that look like they were on the verge of making it big, and you look at somebody like Samoa Joe, a bigger guy, and he came in with a lot of fanfare, and he kept getting hurt, and that hurt his momentum. Will the same thing happen with Keith Lee? He's 37, 38, somewhere around there. We'll have to wait and see. It's one of those scenarios where if his body holds up and he can stay healthy, I think that he's going to go very far in AEW. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, should AEW push Keith Lee hard like Roman Reigns? Again, if his body can hold up and he can wrestle on a regular basis and he can pull it off, then yeah, I say go all the way with him. And I'm not sure where he fits in with the world title picture right now, because I do think that they should go with MJF versus Adam Page at some point. But Keith Lee is one of those guys that I would definitely consider grooming for a top spot, possibly with the world title at some point. Maybe MJF beats Page, and then Keith Lee beats MJF at some point. Son?
I'll say because of his age and his recent heart scare. Like I said, I hope, I agree with you all that hopefully he's all good, and he looked good to me in terms of his wrestling last night. But I do think because of his age and in his conditions, he's someone they should push a lot sooner than later, and then eventually maybe when you make him maybe that top guy, you can use him to then put over one of the newer, younger stars very somewhat down the road in the near future.
Yeah. And I would love to see Keith Lee get a run, even if it's a short run with the world title, and give him his opportunity to be at the top. Now, we do have some more super chats here, so let me get to those. Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $5 super chat. Says, could AEW reunite Keith Lee and Shane Taylor as a tag team? Taylor did hint at it on Twitter when Keith Lee was released. Who's familiar here with Shane Taylor? Because I am not. Big G.
Shout out to Ring of Honor. Go for it, Big G.
Yep, Ring of Honor.
At all.
Yep. Yeah, I had seen him a couple times at Ring of Honor. He's another big guy, and I never knew that him and Keith Lee were tag team partners, but that'd be pretty cool. I know he had the Shane Taylor promotions down to Ring of Honor. So,
all right, and Ian Joplin sent in a $50 super chat. I guess I'm gonna have to split this with the birthday boys here. He says, "Happy birthday to Noah and son."
Thank you.
There you go. I'll make sure that they get a cut of that. And Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, will Adam Cole become Keith Lee's manager?
Oh, good Lord Almighty. Psycho, are you on something tonight? This is the same company you're talking about that wanted to shave Adam Cole baby bald. Hell to no. Both men are individual, top-tier stars that could rule AEW if booked properly. Anyway, continue.
All right. I've pretty much said my piece on it. I liked the debuts, and I think there's a lot of potential. And with Jay White, they'll definitely use him to help continue the Adam Cole storyline with Kenny Omega. And I don't know how long Jay White will be around since he's working for New Japan Pro Wrestling. But hey, if they can keep the forbidden door open and get some more people in there from other companies, it makes for a more interesting show and creates the possibility for other people to come in at some point as well. So definitely liked both of the debuts this week. Now we can
go over to Big G. All right, Big G, you're on the clock here.
I'm on the clock here.
60 seconds.
No, so like I said, I was at the show last night, and the crowd, the pop was pretty loud for Keith Lee when he came out. Back to his old ring gear. He doesn't have the straps on. Not some weird ass theme song. It's Keith freaking Lee. He looked good in the ring. Match is very good. Like I said, Isaiah Cassie was like the perfect opponent for him. Like when he threw him up in the air, I was like, "Yep, this is Keith Lee." And I'm happy for the guy. He looked when he came out, he had that like smile on his face. He looked like he was happy to be at a WWE and to be into AEW. And like you said, he needs to be booked properly. Obviously, he's in the face of the Revolution ladder match for the TNT Championship. So I feel like he should win the TNT title first and then work his way up to the AEW World title. And then as far as Jay White goes, I've heard of the guy. I've seen bits and pieces on YouTube from him from New Japan. I don't follow New Japan either. But from what I see, they were all with the Bullet Club, so I feel like this is going to lead to some kind of big match with like Adam Cole and O'Fish and O'Reilly versus, and I'm sure Jay White is going to join them, and then you'll have Omega and the Young Bucks and whoever, and they'll have some kind of match. I don't know, but it was cool to see Jay White in AEW. I just hope, Tony Khan knows what to do with them and does not just let them fall and disappear.
Now, real quick here, to respond to Walter Cruz about Keith Lee needing a manager and his mic skills not being great, we'll have to see how Keith Lee does without a script. With the WWE scripts, maybe he just wasn't able to adapt to having
right.
And
exactly.
Another thing with Keith Lee, AEW, they only have one show per week. Well, they have the AEW Dark and then Dynamite every Wednesday.
What about Rampage?
Well, Rampage is taped too. Unless it's...
Oh, you're talking live show?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I think he's talking about weekly live show because Rampage once in a while is live.
Right, once in a while it'll be live. But then they can go and do independent things too. So, it's a lighter schedule for them. So
it's freedom!
Pretty much.
All right. Well, we always have to get the AEW chat in, and we did. And, so we'll see. Keith Lee is there now. And it's like, as we're seeing these people show up, who's next? Who's Tony Khan going to bring next, right? There's still people out there. The whole Jay White thing, Big G, like it's because he's doing New Japan stuff. I think it'll be very selective. New Japan will make sure he's still very protected because he's one of their main players. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't worry about like him getting lost in any shuffle in AEW. If he does anything with them, it will be something big. At least in terms of the Jay White bubble. So
well, Roger Romero has been helping a lot with the NJPW stuff you have seen come through AEW, including but not limited to Tomohiro Ishii, for example, showing up during a show. So
we'll see. We'll see if Switchblade can captivate people here in the United States. All right, so moving on. When Ronda Rousey lost the championship, her the match at WrestleMania in the main event, and Becky won. There was a story left to be told there, and Becky was a babyface. And fast forward, I would have never thought Becky would be a heel now, because Charlotte, right? Nobody's like Charlotte's a natural heel.
Yep.
Ronda comes back, which I wanted. She comes back, and the two champions are heels. Ronda cannot be a babyface. Like she just can't be, because just the way she is, her face, the things she said, like she just is a natural heel in the wrestling world. And you could even probably put a mouthpiece that's tongue-tied with her. But they're going to push her as babyface. And it's just not, I don't know if it's going to work, Aaron, because you saw what the reaction she got on Raw right after the Rumble. Now, granted, on SmackDown, maybe the crowd's a little more excited being there for a SmackDown than Raw. So maybe it'll work, but if Charlotte's really a great heel, she'll get Ronda over. I just don't think that wrestling fan base will put her over. So what's everybody's thoughts here? Because obviously we can't talk Ronda versus Becky because they're not going to do that this year. What could make this better? If they do go Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte, I think there could be some issues with this. So, Son, I'm going to come over to you. How do they get through this without Ronda getting like hardly any reactions? They gotta be clever here. What do you think?
Well, yeah. I think you nailed it with this just doesn't work out with her as a babyface, at least long term. One thing they utilized really well with her was in her first run was they kept putting all the heels that everyone loved to boo. Alexa, Nia, and it was really well done. Nikki, Bella, but then you saw once she started getting to the top tier, women like Charlotte and Becky, and I think it was in that Survivor Series match with Charlotte that she was actually booed, and Charlotte was the babyface, but everyone cheered for Charlotte because they respected her more from that standpoint, and it just it felt more natural when Ronda was a heel. So long term, they've got to make her a heel. I was concerned that with everything she had said online during her absence from WWE, the fans were going to boo her, but I guess that's mostly just the hardcore fans. And then when it came to the casual fans, they probably weren't even paying attention to what she was saying about the business, and they were just like, cheering, ready to see Ronda back. A lot of this actually just doing Charlotte and doing versus Ronda, it feels like Taker and Sting WrestleMania, that scenario. It's like, Triple H versus Sting is a good close second, just like Charlotte versus Ronda's a good close second, but now's the time. You gotta hop on Sting versus Taker now at WrestleMania, what was it, 31, right, in 2015?
Yep.
Yes.
That's like, it's like now you should hop on Becky versus Charlotte. Don't wait all the way.
You mean Becky versus Ronda?
Yeah, I'm getting all my names mixed up there. Yeah, botch, all right. Yeah,
what we all expected it should have been, but it's not going to be until maybe next year. Yeah,
exactly.
That's a big maybe.
Yeah, don't wait for Charlotte and what is it, Ronda to be like somewhere. Actually, you should have Charlotte and Ronda be somewhere down the line, maybe even SummerSlam or next year's WrestleMania. Do Becky versus Ronda now. That's the match, and then you can go there. And personally, with the thought of it, the thought of it being next year WrestleMania for Becky, I feel as though you should want to switch this out between WrestleMania and SummerSlam, because if this is Becky's final match coming up for 39. Build up a new woman to be the one that actually beats Ronda and takes her out of WWE. So I don't know. The dynamics seem like it's gonna be off for this, but I guess we'll see how it goes. Maybe they'll choose Ronda over Charlotte in terms of the fans' reaction, but all year long, I don't know how that's gonna really work out for them. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it for the most part.
See, Big G, I'm going to come over to you. Here's the thing.
Right.
It's Fox, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, like, who exactly – like, we've heard rumors, like, you know, that's why Reigns is on SmackDown. Fox wanted WWE to get CM Punk.
Right.
You know, Lesnar's always on Fox for the most part.
Right.
Charlotte might have been one of the – because of Flair. Might have been one of the names they wanted. And because of that, that's why we're getting, you know, Ronda versus Charlotte. Because of a network, and Becky happened to be stuck on Raw on USA. What do you think here?
I think that was a great point. I mean, yeah, USA, you know, Raw has been on USA for the longest time, but I feel like Fox is the bigger channel. Everybody can get Fox. I mean, everybody can get USA as well, but Fox is, you know,
yeah, it's the only wrestling show that can do over 2 million because of the reach.
That's the Fox is. I mean, Fox is huge, you know, and I mean, so is USA and NBC. But I feel like Fox has the upper hand, and you know, Ronda being back. I mean, this is what her third week back. Her third week this coming week.
Sounds right.
And you know, she said that she's not gonna like pay attention to the fans or anything like that. And you know, that's just her working. And because you could tell, like on SmackDown, like she was smiling when like the fans were cheering for her and stuff like that. And I honestly don't know how. I mean, because
she gets flustered on the mic. She starts talking really fast.
Right.
That's a sign of nervousness.
Right.
And they could protect her better.
They could. And I mean, if they had a mouthpiece for her, I mean, if Heyman wasn't with Roman Reigns right now, I would have Heyman with Ronda Rousey.
Yep.
They have the history, you know, you know, that they had the shirts like I'm a Heyman girl or whatever and stuff like that. And but yeah, there's the only way. I think somebody mentioned it in the chat. Like the only way you could probably make Ronda a heel, like full-fledged heel, is like a double turn at WrestleMania. But then people hate Charlotte's guts too, so like how does that work, you know?
Well, I got one small idea, Big G. Like, but they want, I think they want that one-on-one environment.
Right.
But Sasha Banks, somebody the fans could get behind in that feud and make it a triple threat feud. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
They probably won't.
We still have plenty. I mean, we have plenty of time before WrestleMania, so we know WWE, they like to switch things around because at first it wasn't supposed to be a triple threat at WrestleMania 35, correct? Yeah. I think it was just.
And I said Charlotte was going to squeak in there, and she did.
Charlotte squeaked in, and you know, obviously it looks like we're probably getting Becky versus Bianca this year at WrestleMania,
which might be a good payoff for all the people that said Bianca was buried. What if she beats Becky for the Raw Women's Championship and has 2 Manias in a row where she wins big?
Right. So, I mean, and I'm sure eventually, Son said it good best. I think we'll probably get Ronda versus Becky at SummerSlam. Because other than that, like, you can't wait till next year's WrestleMania because then everybody's going to be like, well.
Los Angeles. You never know.
Los Angeles, too. You're right. But, I mean, Ronda being back, I know some people hate it, like the hardcore fans hate it, and the casual fans like, okay, cool, you know, it's Ronda. So
yeah, well,
I got one question I would want to ask. Does anyone else feel that, let's say Bianca does win the Elimination Chamber and faces Becky, and while it would all be awesome to see Bianca be the one to defeat Becky, anyone else feel that it's weird that you're going to have the losers of the first main event of WrestleMania be in the main event and become the first women to main event a second time, while the 2 winners of the only main events for women in WrestleMania are going to probably be in the mid-card or even the opening match? That dynamic just seems weird to me.
Well, again, WWE bottlenecked themselves. It's basically what they happened here. You're literally talking three names, well, four names technically, but three names truly matter, and that's Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda. They've bottled themselves into a corner. Pretty much, this is a no-win scenario, almost, it feels like.
Now, Noah, so what Son just said, so we could assume Rousey and Charlotte would headline night one.
Yes.
We know Roman and Brock's going to headline night two.
Yes.
Why would it be a problem for Becky and Bianca to be in the mid card of night two, which is the main night with the bigger main event? I don't see a problem with that. If they're given enough time. I don't know. What do you think on this whole thing with Ronda?
Well, again, going back to the Ronda thing, it comes down to how Fox wants WWE to be presented on their network. They want to be presented more as a sports, legitimate-oriented thing. So what's more sports than Brock Lesnar? Ronda Rousey. Hence, we got Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair 2 happening at WrestleMania, hopefully this time not ending in a DQ. It almost feels like for me, though, if they're really going all the way out till next year with this Becky thing, they're trying to build a Rock Cena complex and drag this out for a whole year. I don't know if they can do that. As far as the Charlotte and Ronda thing, unless they try and pull like a double heel thing like you said, or a Brock Cena thing from SummerSlam 2016, this almost feels like a no-win scenario because Ronda can't be a babyface, in my opinion. She is literally a personification of, I'm a legitimate force, don't take me lightly. Yes, SmackDown, she got a bit more cheers because she broke Sonya Deville's arm, allegedly. And people, boo Sonya Deville because that's just the way the fans are. But honestly, Charlotte versus Ronda is a heel versus heel dynamic, but it's also, if they book it away to let her speak as such and show herself as such, it's fighter versus wrestler. And that probably could be the way that this could save this and make it feel even bigger than what it feels like right now, what they hope it is to be. So right now, in my opinion, without a female mouthpiece like Paul Heyman, if you're going to have Ronda be more vocal versus just say a few things and then just break people with kicks and breaking arms, it's almost like right now they're in a no-win scenario because, figuratively speaking, if Ronda beats Charlotte for the title, what do you do next? Who challenges her? Do you just flip Becky over on brands based on what happens with Becky's title match at WrestleMania and start the build year-long from there? I'm not sure. The biggest thing this needs, though, in my opinion, though, is definitely Ronda stays heel, Ronda beats herself. If you want her to speak, get her a mouthpiece.
No, I get the whole Becky and Ronda dynamic that the fans want, but I will admit Charlotte and Ronda will always be a better wrestling match than Becky versus Ronda. I'm not knocking Becky, but Charlotte had a fantastic match with Ronda at Survivor Series.
Exactly.
And I know it'll be a better match, but the characters, the personas are what really make that maybe a little irrelevant. So I just wanted to get that out there.
No, and like I said, it's fighter versus wrestler. If they book it more like that, then maybe it will feel different. It will feel even bigger than just the two names on the marquee. I definitely agree that Charlotte versus Ronda is the bigger wrestling match per se, while people might think Becky versus Ronda is the bigger debate yet to be settled.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Aaron, over to you.
I think that Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania has the potential to carry night one if the buildup is good. However, my concern is the promos are going to be rough leading up to it, and the crowd might end up crapping on the match. Now, one thing that they have going for them is that it's 2 nights of WrestleMania. It's not like a 7-hour show where they're out there after 7 hours. That will help them. And if the writing is decent enough, I think they'll be okay. But yeah, as mentioned earlier, I think it would be beneficial for Ronda to have a mouthpiece as a heel, whether it's Paul Heyman or somebody else. Now, we do have a few super chats here, so let's get to those real quick. The This Guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat, says, Becky Lynch is overrated. Interesting. Charlotte earned this match. Are people just saying Becky Lynch is overrated because they don't like the heel character that she's doing right now?
Probably.
Probably.
Maybe they feel like she hasn't been able to pull it off, but it really should not have happened in the first place. Steve Austin could not pull off that heel turn in 2001, in my opinion. And I feel like no matter what Becky does, people are not going to boo her, no matter how good she is. And even Ric Flair, when he turned heel in 99 and after that, when he was part of Evolution, like people just did not want to boo Ric Flair after a certain point in time. And Becky Lynch reached that point quite a while ago where the people were going to pretty much be behind her no matter what. Now, with that being said, there are guys like Bryan Danielson who managed to pull off a heel role even after you think there's no way he can ever go back to being a heel again. You look at that 2018 Planets Champion run that he had. I was just blown away by how he managed to be a successful heel after that career-ending injury, and he came back and all that stuff, son.
Yeah, I'll add on. But the thing about that heel turn with Bryan is it came at a time in his career where he was back. He'd been doing, the whole yes man babyface, and it felt like it kind of started running its course. So he changed it up, and it felt fresh again. Becky came right back, and they did not organically build that. Like, I think having her lose to Bianca and then slowly getting jealous and more desperate, we never saw that natural evolution to what turned. I think I always mention too, when it comes to any sort of genre, what makes a good villain is having a good reason for getting those villainous ways. And we saw a nice story that organically showed Becky going to the dark side, and I think it'd been more easier. It was just like a light switch with this heel turn. Like, I'm back and I just want to be bad now.
Especially when he was contrasting with AJ Styles.
Right. Yeah, like I said, if the storytelling is good, I think that Ronda and Charlotte will deliver at WrestleMania. And going back to what you guys were talking about before, Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair, which I presume will be the match at WrestleMania. Could be wrong, though. They might go with a multi-woman match. Who knows? But that match being semi-main event on night 2, I think that's a really good spot for them. Noah?
There's only one other option I could see for the Raw Women's Championship, and this is based on the fact that the Elimination Chamber at Country Redacted has one empty spot left. We saw McIntyre return earlier from an injury than expected. Who's to say Bayley and Becky?
Wait, time out. I called that, by the way.
Yeah, you did.
Good on you. Who's to say that Bayley won't try and do the same thing, but you finally get Bayley versus Becky at WrestleMania? Because Bayley did get shafted at last year's WrestleMania as the host, and while she did hold down SmackDown during the pandemic, she really hasn't, I think, really done anything on Raw as a heel.
That one was my first idea for what Becky would probably end up doing when she came back. But once again, it's this heel turn and the dynamics of it all. I just thought there was a much better story of babyface Becky is back, and then heel Bayley can talk about how, say like, oh, you ran off and got pregnant, and I ran the entire WWE. Now it's like Bayley coming back, and she's going to get cheered by the fans. So, I don't know. I feel like just the heel dynamic puts so many things off when it comes to Becky right now.
It puts everything off right now in the women's picture, because if you look at it, there's pretty much, if Bayley comes back, you have 4 heels. The only face we're really talking about in this scenario right now is Bianca, if she does within this chamber. And the only other mouthpiece I could think of you could get maybe in some weird alternative idea for Ronda Rousey is maybe Sasha Banks, because Sasha and Ronda, that was one of Ronda's better matches during her championship reign, and Sasha has nothing for WrestleMania. Who's to say she's not a little envious of Charlotte being the champion? Who's to say if Sasha won the Royal Rumble, she wouldn't have gone after Charlotte? So maybe this could be a way to put Charlotte in the WrestleMania picture in a different role, because Sasha definitely can throw fire on the mic.
And something for sure about Sasha, she has never won at WrestleMania. So whatever match they put her in, she needs to win, or else you're going to be making her the female opposite Undertaker at Mania.
Exactly.
Aaron, do you have some super chats?
Yeah, it would not shock me if we get some kind of multi-woman match, since there are a lot of top names that currently have no clear direction for WrestleMania, whether it's Sasha Banks and Lita, unless she wins at Elimination Chamber, which I don't think she will. But we'll get to predictions next week. We do have a few more super chats. And by the way, shout out to Interstate Kyle. He's in the chat room. And yeah, we were there in Los Angeles for that, watching that match. And that was a sign that something needed to change with Ronda when LA, her hometown fans, were booing her in that match with Charlotte Flair. Let's see here. Carlos sent in a $10 super chat. Thank you, Carlos. Much appreciated. Says, the problem with Charlotte Flair is WWE doesn't know how to book her if she doesn't have the championship. Ronda owes her a beating because of what happened at Survivor Series in 2018. Yeah, so
exactly
for Ronda Rousey. And I I fully expect Ronda to win the title. I don't even think that that's a question. I think Ronda will get the championship, and she'll have her run. And we'll probably get Ronda versus Sasha Banks, or maybe even a triple threat with Charlotte, Sasha, and Ronda post WrestleMania. And then Psycho
WrestleMania
Jet Black.
Backlash 2.
Don't even go there.
You know W's going to do it.
Yeah, probably. Likely in all likelihood. But anyways, Psycho Jet Black with the $2 super chat says, will Charlotte ever change her gimmick? Great question. And that's one of the things that I think is key to longevity, is being able to evolve your character over time. You see with The Undertaker what he did over the years, what Chris Jericho did, continuously reinventing himself. And Charlotte has, well, been the same Charlotte she was in 2016. Becky has even undergone transformations from her first incarnation when she debuted on the main roster and then turning into the man and now doing big time Beck. She's been evolving and changing it up. Charlotte has not. So that's a really good point there, Psycho Jet Black. One of your best super chats, legitimately. So thank you for that.
I really want to see Charlotte just do a different character and everything. Just something different that makes everybody like go like, wow, like, you know, just see a nice evolution. I mean, look at Roman Reigns, best example.
Exactly.
Yeah. Although you could argue that Ric Flair, her dad, never really changed his gimmick. He was always the limousine riding, jet flying son of a gun. And then when they tried to change him up and cut his hair and call him Spartacus or whatever the hell they were planning for him back in 91. What was it? Jim Herd wanted to change him up, and that led to the whole falling out with Ric Flair and WCW, and went to WWE and won the Royal Rumble. So, yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. But, yeah, I would like to see Charlotte change things up a little bit.
She's definitely a person that needs to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, ready for the main event, gentlemen?
Yeah.
All right.
Let me preface with Bill Goldberg will not beat Roman Reigns for the Universal title. 0% chance, right? Never
Less
bet
than
against
zero.
Roman Reigns. So I'm bringing this topic up, basically saying Roman Reigns is your Universal Champion, 500 plus days heading into WrestleMania. With that said, we have the Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I said it. And Brock Lesnar, right, is a favorite to win it, even though Lashley's the WWE champion. It sucks for him. He just won it. The rumors of a title match are very, very possible. So everybody, what do you think here? Should WWE do this to really make this main event, Brock versus Roman, title for title, night 2 of WrestleMania this year in Dallas, something intriguing? Because, like, who's going to hold those two title belts up? Big G, I'm going to come over to you. And please, I appreciate what Josh Mansfield did on Twitter the other day, saying that Goldberg should beat Reigns, Lesnar should win the Chamber, and then it's Reigns and Lesnar for the WWE title. But come on, Josh, Goldberg's not winning. So, Big G, go.
So, yeah, no way Goldberg is beating Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber. God forbid if it does happen, but it's not going to happen. Then you got Lesnar in the Elimination Chamber match. And somebody was saying, if Brock's in the pod, then he's probably winning it. Brock could be the first, go through that whole entire match and literally, like Shayna Baszler did a couple years ago, and eliminate everybody. And Lesnar could do the same thing. He could pretty much dominate the whole entire thing and beat Bobby Lashley for the WWE title. Like, it would suck for Lashley, but the bigger picture is WrestleMania. And I'm sure Bobby Lashley will get his spot on the WrestleMania card.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to happen. Like, you could still have Bobby Lashley be WWE champion, and Brock will still get Roman because he won the Royal Rumble.
Right.
So, but
title. It's
like, Big G. I was thinking at one point Roman will drop the title to Brock at Mania and take the summer vacation and come back at SummerSlam.
Right.
Recharge his batteries. Right. I've actually rescinded that because I'm starting to have a feeling he could be booked to not even lose the Universal title at all and approach 800 whatever it would be going into next year's WrestleMania,
Wow.
9-something and approach 1,000.
Right.
Nobody's ever going to do what Bruno did ever. They're never going to do that. That was a different era back in the Northeast, Madison Square Garden, 3,000 some days, or however long, whatever it was. But could they get Roman to 1,000 to make something that'll probably never happen again modern day?
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm starting to think this is a possibility with him.
I think so. Like you said, you got title for title. You know, if they do end up doing that, and Brock loses on night 2, Roman, you know, I guess he'll probably get rid of the WWE title and just they'll just keep the Universal title,
or keep them both on them and let them be on both shows.
Well, they did that too at one time with the big gold belt and the WWE title, and they eventually got rid of the big gold belt. So.
I'd love the brand split to go away, but
I do too. I mean, it'd be nice that like you have one title for both shows, but then I guess I don't know how I don't know how honestly that would work. I mean, I would love for them to do that with all the title, at least the tag titles as well, you know. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. WrestleMania is 50 some odd days away. We'll see what happens at Elimination Chamber, and because WWE, they can have one plan. Like I said last week, they can have one plan for setup, and Vince won't like that. Like within the next couple of days, and they'll have to completely rewrite the whole entire thing.
Noah, yes, Aaron.
I just wanted your response to this comment from Nathan, because Virtue, you always like to say that sometimes you want to see an outcome that pisses off the internet for your own entertainment. Well, Nathan Banks says he wants to see Goldberg beat Roman Reigns just to see everybody go nuts and go crazy. What do you think about that?
But who would go nuts though? Like I think there's a certain amount of people out there that actually are starting to want Roman Reigns to lose now because he's had it so long. So if anything, I could see them let him keep it to piss those people off.
Right.
Not Goldberg winning it to piss people off. That's just what I think, though.
I do not think people want Goldberg to win the title under any circumstances.
Now,
when Josh Mansfield made that post, he got some backlash for that one.
Yeah, I know. I saw he tagged me in it. All right, Noah, what's the possibility here that at the end of WrestleMania Night 2, Roman Reigns is standing in the ring with the fireworks, holding both title belts up? I think it's a very, very good possibility.
Ah, jeez.
Clean.
The Brock Roman saga has been going on now for practically 7 years going into this WrestleMania. I feel like right now, based on everything I've seen, and Paul Heyman, once again, changing the narrative, surrendering to Roman Reigns, it feels like this should be the way it should go because Roman is literally the guy this company stands on the foundation of. It would not be weird to me to see one title or two titles, he holds both, literally just on one person for this company across the two shows, that they still want to try and keep the two shows with their own individual identity. But at the end of the day, everybody in some way is fighting to challenge the head of the table, and maybe you preserve those time matches only on pay-per-view. I honestly can't remember the last time they had like key big-time title matches on regular TV. So based on everything that I'm seeing and the fact that, Bobby Lashley, he might be transitional champion, sad to say, and the fact that right now, since the Universal title's existence, it has not felt more important since being on Roman Reigns, and maybe it truly, after Roman literally just tossed the WWE title aside at Royal Rumble, maybe Roman literally wants this to be the title, the only identity. I could see it. Kazuchika Okada held the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship version 4 for practically 800 days because he was untouchable, and he ended up having a multi-tier saga with somebody before he lost it. Now, whether or not the end game for Roman is defined or still to be defined, that's hard to say, but right now, without Roman, this company has nothing on a weekly basis. You got to give the audience something on a weekly basis. Roman has been the guy. It would not surprise me to see him hold both those titles, or literally toss one aside and literally hold up just the big blue one. Truly saying, this is the one and I am the one come the end of WrestleMania, because right now, there's nobody else that could touch Roman, in my opinion.
Ready for this, Noah?
What?
So whether he has both titles or one, imagine Roman going into WrestleMania in Los Angeles with The Rock challenging him, and he has to beat The Rock to still continue to get to that 1,000 days. WWE needs time to build their next main eventer, WrestleMania main eventer, right? They need time, more than a year. Could you imagine if Roman went on this run all the way to beating The Rock, then maybe SummerSlam after that, when I think, would make 1,000 days.
It would surpass 1,000 days.
Then they have whoever they finally have in place to pass the torch and build a new star.
Right.
They have, if they can all get together and figure this thing out, they can do this thing. But the question is, will they? Or it's there, Noah.
Yeah, can they? Again,
it's not about Roman breaking records to me.
No.
It's about making that next star that they're desperately seeking to be Roman's replacement one day. They have that opportunity, and they have enough time to do it if they play this out right. I'm just saying.
And it just surprised me they don't have a foundation right now, it seems, for anybody in that company that you feel could be the guy a year from now. They tried to stint with Cesaro, and that fell flat.
I mean, again, it's a lot of time, and they've brought people up and pushed them quickly. Son, what do you think here? Like, I don't want to start getting into thinking who the next guy's going to be, because we've talked about that. Let's go back and focus on, will this title for title thing happen?
I feel it will.
Son, over to you.
Well, first, let me just say I think it's hilarious storyline-wise how they put this together. There's a guy on TikTok, I don't know his name, but it's like he'll have videos where people are doing things the hard way, and then he does it the easy way, and he ends up doing this face where he's like... And I feel like that's Goldberg. He just walked right in. He looked at everybody in the Royal Rumble, went up to Roman, says, "Me, you're next for the title." And he gets it, and he's looking back at everybody in that Rumble match going like, that's all you had to do to get the title shot.
Yeah, well, he did beat Bobby Lashley, so I guess at least in this instance.
And it's not WrestleMania. It's not like he's going to WrestleMania to main event either, which is what the Rumble is, but still, I get what you're saying.
But with this set in mind, like I said, with the they brought in $1 billion and $900 million. They can book this either way. So I'm gonna be honest. I will not be mad. I will not go crazy if Goldberg beats Roman. Do I think Goldberg should? Absolutely not. But I won't, because honestly, after the Fiend, after what they did with Asuka at WrestleMania, losing to Charlotte, I'll just sit there like I'm not mad. What do we expect? They can do whatever they want. They make so much money. But that being said, there is the nice thing about this is, who do you really put Goldberg up against? Honestly, he's gone through everybody again. Brock, Bobby. So I feel personally, as far as doing a unification match, I saw some other people on Twitter talk, and it's got me conflicted a little bit. On one hand, like the Twitter user that made the topic, he was saying it'd be absolutely ridiculous for WWE to split the title or unify both titles because it would create less opportunity. But then someone responded to him saying, though, the thing is WWE doesn't take the brand split serious, and if they're not going to take it serious, then might as well have one championship. And that's the problem. It could work, but WWE, I don't think they don't want to make it work now. But I would like to see Lashley retain the WWE championship. And I don't think this needs to be a unification match for the same reason I felt that the women's match WrestleMania 35 didn't need to be. So we'll see where they go from there. Hopefully Lashley retains, and Roman, I think, easily does retain Goldberg. I wouldn't even mind a squash, because I don't think we've ever seen Goldberg dominated, and you really want to put Roman over as the top person in this company. You have him be the one to destroy Goldberg. And then just as far as heading off into the future, you've been mentioning 1,000 days Virtue. I don't know if he's going to make it 1,000 days, but I definitely would like to see Goldberg Roman. I'm thinking of Goldberg.
No, real quick,
the match.
Son, could you imagine Vince McMahon looking at a calendar, counting that out? Though I can, like on his desk, one of those calendars, counting. Dude, I can.
That'd be
I don't
hilarious.
think so. For me, it would represent that he's planning it ahead of time. I think he's just keeping the title on Roman until he finds his next guy. But I could at least see Roman going beyond 2 years, because as you mentioned, this is unprecedented. I've never probably going to see this again. It's going to be a long time. It's taken almost 40 years. Hogan's the last person to hold this championship, to hold the championship for that many years. So at least 2 years. If they can make it to 1,000, either way, it really all depends on how soon they're able to build that next star. So spend this next year building that star and going there. But just keeping it to WrestleMania, this has got to be it. Roman, I hope they finally have him beat Brock Lesnar clean, because it just seems they are, for whatever reason, they don't want to put him over Brock clean. They don't even want him going over Seth, who went over Brock clean. They didn't even have him beat Drew his last time after he beat Brock clean. So it's like, establish it. I wouldn't even mind you have Roman go ahead and pay Brock back a brutal, bloody beatdown for WrestleMania 34. Because even though at the time he was the pre-tribal chief, I was like, you should have made it. I think I was on here in NoDQ review saying, go all the way, whether the fans like it or not. Go all the way with him, because that's what you put the whole story to. And so many times they keep just jacking this whole thing around, just basically like, no, we're going to have Roman win. Nah, no, not this time. We'll have him win, but not clean. Do it already. Have him beat Brock Lesnar clean and get it over with, and let's start building towards the future. There's no reason now. Roman is the tribal chief. He has earned the respect from people, whether you cheer him or boo him. It's all for the right reasons now. So that is the direction I hope they go, and you don't need to put the WWE and world titles together, universal title together, to get that done. You can do it with one championship. But like I said, WWE has their guaranteed money. They will do whatever they want, and so we can only hope.
No,
amen to that.
Yes, Aaron, I'm not against Roman Reigns losing his title. I want it to be meaningful.
Right, I agree.
Brock beating, Goldberg beating Reigns, not meaningful. Brock beating Reigns at WrestleMania, is that really meaningful?
No.
That's why I want Roman to hold on to it until they can make it. Find the guy. What do you think here?
Yep.
I'm 100% in agreement. Roman Reigns should not be dropping the title to Brock Lesnar. He should not be dropping it to Bill Goldberg. But we're not talking about predictions right now. The main topic here is, should it be a title versus title match? I have mixed feelings on it. I definitely think there are pros and cons, and it looks like they're going to do it, though. The fact that it's been teased several times now leads me to believe that they're going with a title versus title match. I've always said that the pro is that you can have one champion appear on both shows, and then you can have that champion challenge people on Raw and have challengers on SmackDown. And it makes the world title feel even more important, because if you win the title, you get to be on both shows. You get to make the big money. It's even more prestigious than it already is. And I've been saying for a while, merge some of the titles, and you can put more of an emphasis on the mid-card titles. I mean, when's the last time Shinsuke Nakamura defended that Intercontinental title? Just saying. So I would like to see it happen. I don't know if they're going to merge the titles or not. We do have some super chats here, so let me try to get to those. Interstate Kyle, thank you for tuning in, Kyle. We appreciate it. Says Roman Reigns will be champion for 1,315 days at WrestleMania 40, assuming it's held on April 7th, 2024. He's thinking way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking 1,000-ish. He's going a little farther, but
yeah,
it's still a very real possibility, to be fair, because again, with WWE and the way they try to build somebody, how long can that actually take?
Yeah, and I think, Virtue, you made a great point there with the 1,000 days. Let Roman Reigns get to that milestone, and he might as well at this point. Hopefully, he doesn't get injured or anything. But they could always have him do it. Shinsuke Nakamura, like Shinsuke Nakamura, doesn't even matter anymore. If the guy can go 30 days or 60 days or 90 days without defending the title, it doesn't really matter.
Do they even do house shows anymore where they defend these titles, or no?
I have no idea.
Technically, they do have title matches, but of course, the titles almost never change.
No, but I just wonder if they count those as defenses. I don't know.
Yeah, they do. I think they do. I mean, when I was at the last one in Hershey, you had Big E defend the WWE title, And I mean, obviously he won it because it's rare that they'll change it at the house show. So
I
I
was
think the
saying
only
that's
time they ever changed the house show was Samoa Joe NXT.
yeah,
I would say one of the awesome things about Roman's championship reign so far is the fact that he's been defending the championship every month and even a few, maybe sometimes every other week or so, because he's defended it on TV. So he really has earned the moniker the greatest Universal Champion ever. He has consistently defended that title multiple times over the last year plus.
Mm-hmm.
We do have some more super chats here. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 one, which I did not get to from a recent stream. Let me read that one. He says, seriously, what's the point of having 2 world titles if you can't use at least one of them to build up a mid-card superstar into a main event star? Great point there, which is all the more reason to just merge the titles at this point. And there was also a comment about Braun Breaker possibly being the guy to... Maybe.
At this point, I think so.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
might literally be the only one right now that they might literally invest in potentially being that next guy.
I think they're gonna see how well he does with the NXT title because they put that on him within being with the company a couple months.
If that, yes.
So I mean, honestly, I think Breaker is the only. But honestly, they need to change his name from Braun Breaker to something else if he goes to the main.
Don't sleep on Gable Steveson. I know he's not going through NXT. I know we don't know much about him. I'm just telling you, he's a gold medalist and he can flip. He can wrestle. Yeah. I don't know if he's got charisma or not, but just don't sleep on him either.
We'll see if he's a Kurt Angle.
Steiner at this point.
What's that?
What are your thoughts on Steiner at this point?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the molding for sure, but if it's one of those two, I can't go beyond that right now.
Yeah, I definitely don't see what's his name, the big guy. What's his name on NXT? The tall guy.
Don't ask me.
Anybody know?
Not my NXT. No idea.
Someone will mention it in the chat, I'm sure.
The guy who's the son of Wayne Bloom.
Von Wagner?
Yeah, that's it.
I was going to say him, but I, for some reason, wasn't.
That's the only weird. That's the only other name for a bland, tall guy I could think of right now on this NXT.
Honestly, I have not watched.
There's no way. There's no way he's the next star. No way.
Yeah, I'm not thinking it's going to be him.
Because Vince tends to go. He likes to mold people with what's worked before. Gable Steveson, Kurt Angle, Braun Breaker has family history in the business. I know the Steiners weren't necessarily made. Scott was in WCW, but that's why those guys are possibilities because Vince tends to try to repeat history in some way.
Yeah.
Well, Scott Steiner did feud with Triple H over Big Gold, so there's that.
I just remembered that there were reports that people in WWE thought Von Wagner could be a WrestleMania main eventer one day. I don't see it yet, but we'll see.
The WrestleMania 56.
All right, let's see here. Mr. Anderson sent in a $2 super chat. He says, Roman Reigns is not losing to Goldberg.
Nope.
I agree.
We'll do predictions next week. I would say it's highly unlikely, but at this stage of the game, I would not rule anything out. Nothing would shock me. If Goldberg won, I would not be shocked.
No, I want you to send me a list of anybody that picks Goldberg in your predictions thing, and let me know who they are so I can virtually smack them in the face.
Definitely, and I'll tag team you on that.
Okay.
Mr. Tito, former NoDQ columnist, retired now, sent in $5. Never say never, right? He says Roman Reigns would become a legend if he could pull a good match out of Goldberg. Well, going back to earlier, somebody said that Goldberg should get squashed by Roman Reigns. You know what? Goldberg's big comeback started with a 30-second to minute match. Let it end with a 30-second to minute match.
Beat the record 1 minute 26 seconds at that Survivor Series.
Yeah, Roman Reigns just beats him in a minute. Goldberg goes for a spear, misses, guillotine, it's over.
if it's Goldberg's last match, that's the best way to probably pay it back to the business. He made a career out of squashing people, and then in the end, he gets squashed. But if it's at least a good back and forth match, I just don't want to see Goldberg go out in a really bland match after he had a pretty good match with Bobby Lashley, though. So hopefully it's a good match or it's a squash to put Roman over. Just hopefully we're not walking away with this like, oh, that was a horrible match to go out on.
Right. You
As
know
long
what
as it's
would
the
be
last.
cool? Roman Reigns just completely beats the shit out of Goldberg, leaves him bloody, like makes the kids cry that Goldberg is just being destroyed. That Goldberg's son Gage is there and he's crying, and Roman Reigns, kind of like Rocky IV.
I was thinking about that. Yes, the extra. Have Brock Lesnar run down the ring because we know they're friends in real life, and let the ending be him with Goldberg in his hands looking off at Roman.
Yes. Beautiful, bloody violence and brutality. This
I would love it.
Pleases me.
Oh, here's another guy. Mr. Anderson sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you. Says Solo Sikoa might be the next guy to beat Roman Reigns.
Hey,
So his cousin, pretty much.
the family.
Yeah, keep it in the family.
The
I guess
bloodline.
that could be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, they could do a storyline if he gets good. They could do a storyline where Roman tries to recruit him into the bloodline, and he decides to blaze his own trail and defies the family, defies the pecking order.
How'd
That's
that work out for Jimmy
possibility.
Uso? Just saying.
I mean, if we're what we're talking about here, this pandemic and COVID really helped Roman Reigns' career out. Like it's unbelievable. I'm sure he would have still got to, he would have always been that top guy to Vince, but boy, has it really helped Roman out, man. I just can't get over how.
Cat alert, major cat alert.
Aaron's weakness. Anyway,
Hey,
yeah,
Virtue,
Virtue,
I will say,
I agree with you.
I'm looking more forward to this version of Roman against Goldberg than what they had set up 2 years ago.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, let's see what else we got here. We do.
Are we
have
in
some
After
more
Dark
super
right
chat.
now, finally? So we can.
Not
think
yet,
so.
but we already have
it's
a
this-
super chat for After Dark, so we still got a lot of people want to get their 2 cents on this one.
Go for it.
All right, let's see. Walter Cruz sent in a $2 super chat. Says, change Gunther back to Walter, build him to Roman Reigns. The thing is, Gunther, he's a heel, and Roman Reigns is a heel, so they kind of have the same role. Like Walter should be on Raw as a dominant heel, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens if he gets called up later this year.
Aaron,
Was
let's
that
be
what-
honest. The whole heel versus face thing for these title pictures, it pretty much is irrelevant at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy says, are we missing his super chats? Let me see if I can find it here. Okay, here it is. I didn't miss it. It's bookmarked. He says, simple build up, more than one guy, think the Attitude Era. Well, Virtue, we've talked about this before. Like, they like to put their eggs in one basket, and they have their guy that is the flagship to be on the shows and whatnot. It's really weird. It feels like there's 1 or 2 guys at the top, and then you kind of have your sea of mid-carders, and I don't know if that's ever going to change.
Like, remember the Attitude Era? You had the 2 guys in the title picture, and then the other 4 main eventers were usually feuding with each other and revolving those doors, and then they can't even do that.
No. You would think they would do something right now with Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, for example.
Yeah.
All right. Carlos sent in a $5 super chat. Says, title for title, I think Roman Reigns becomes double champion. Universal title, Brock wins. I could see Roman winning both, dropping the Universal title, and going to Raw.
That network's
Anybody
never
like
going to
that?
allow that. As long as Fox says keep Roman on our network, Roman ain't leaving the blue.
Yeah, I don't think Roman Reigns is going to Raw anytime soon. I mean, you never know,
No.
but
No.
probably not. I think it's a more likely scenario where they merge the titles and Roman's on both shows, but don't think he's leaving SmackDown anytime.
The only way he'll go to Raw is if they don't get another deal with Fox and SmackDown goes back to like Sci-Fi or something, or back on USA. Then they might, But that's way down the road.
Fox is the
And
bigger
by then, WWE could be owned by Disney and everything could be streaming on Disney Plus. We don't
Oh,
know.
Lord. Maybe that's the end game.
Let's see, Psycho or not Psycho. The Game is on 100 sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says Brock is favored in Saudi Arabia, country redacted. Lesnar will be the only man to beat every black WWE champion: The Rock, Kofi Kingston, and Big E, possibly Lashley. That's WWE for you.
Ow.
Okay, ouch.
Well, I mean, he is a former UFC champion. I mean,
Yeah,
believable,
so
no matter
up on
skin
Twitter the other day.
color or not. I mean,
I
but
mean-
his understudy is Gable Steveson. So there you go. He'll put him over down the road.
Hey, at least we got Riddle and Brock in the chamber, two men that actually do have former MMA experience, so there's that possible clash to happen.
Right? That's definitely.
They need to be the two to like start the match.
Agree.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
You know, Lashley has worked hard for this championship. He needs to stay the tide. He needs to stay champion. I
You,
would like to see
Song-
him stay champion.
I thought he was great as the Almighty Champion, but
Now,
literally,
son, Lashley did go to WrestleMania last year and he kept it.
Yeah.
So Drew didn't beat him there. So
he had his moment.
It's still, and WWE might say that's time to title for title. Let's do this, but we'll see.
And hey, Roman might pull a Shawn Michaels, come up under the ring and spear him, and then there you go. They might pull that off. So that way,
Break under the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, it's happened. Why not?
Yeah, why not? They haven't done that with this chamber.
No. All right, let's see what we got here. Psycho Jet Black going off topic here. Well, not really. Still got Roman Reigns in the topic here. Says, can Wardlow and Will Hobbs be the guys that they bring in from AEW where they get pushed at main event level against Roman Reigns? I don't think that they can have that happen that quickly. Like, anything's possible a year or two down the line, but like if Wardlow and Will Hobbs even end up in WWE, that might not be for several more years. So I think it's way too premature to be saying.
I'll tell you what, the Wardlow got a big ass pop last night.
I heard. Look,
Oh
if any sort of suspension of disbelief as far as AEW, WWE, blah 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 is going to happen, it will be in 2024. So wait till then.
Yeah, they're building Wardlow up. Like I was saying earlier, they start these guys off big and then they go down and they come up, and they're keeping Wardlow now. He's getting that build up, so who knows? He might want to resign with the way they're booking him now.
That cat's like, I'm out of here.
Oh, look, two pussies on screen. Cats. Oh wait, no, sorry, Big G, you're not a cat.
Oh, we lost Noah.
Oh,
Is that Harley?
is that Jim Ross back there? Oh yeah, it is.
Good God Almighty!
Is that Jim Ross on your wall? That picture?
Yeah, it is.
All right.
One of my
Okay, Aaron,
biggest.
Let's continue.
One of my
with your
biggest
super chat.
inspirations in my love for wrestling storytelling, and the guy that drew me in to the business.
Nice.
God bless him. Well, I hope to one day meet him. But anyway,
Aaron, super chat. Oh, I know you got more super chats out there.
I know. Well, we're just going to keep the camera on Big G, and people can send in more super chats.
Yeah, the cat's adorable, so leave it there. Let the views go on up.
people draw to furry creatures. Well, good on them.
All right, we gotta get moving here, or else we're going to be going 2 hours. So let
It'll
me
be the
get
first time.
Yeah, I'm sure it won't be the last time.
I was done 17 minutes ago. So let's
All right, let's get these super chats.
Nick Lavin mentioned this. What about the Usos' younger brother actually being the one to end Roman's reign? Thoughts on that? Might make an interesting turn of events. We did touch
Keep it in
on
the
that.
family.
Nick Lavin. Maybe he turns down an offer for the Bloodline and they could have a match. I would not rule it out, but again, it might still be too early to tell with him. He might be a good choice. Braun Breaker might be a good choice. Von Wagner, probably not. And I don't know who else in NXT would be that guy to carry the company. And maybe
this inauguration of NXT being led by Bruce Pritchard is only 8 months old. I think at this point, something like that.
Right.
Less than that, maybe.
I think Shawn Michaels was doing a lot of it, actually, Noah.
He was for a little while because Triple H, of course, was dealing with health concerns. So Shawn Michaels had to step up to the plate.
Let's get to these other ones. Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat regarding Walter / Gunther. He says, Walter can work as a face. The fact that they changed his name already has us fans behind him. That's a simple way to make him a face. See, I don't think he's a good face. I think he's good as that foreign menacing heel, kind of like a Rusev type of character. I just don't see him as a babyface character.
Yeah.
To me, he's very intimidating.
He's always heel, in my opinion, because he has that persona. He has that mystique that comes with this giant coming forward to Dvorak's New World Symphony. He always is heel. It just works.
Right. Yeah, he's really good as the heel character. Now, Virtue, will maybe get your input on this. Carlos sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Carlos. Says, if no COVID happened, Roman Reigns would still be a face. Do you think that is the case, or do you think they would have eventually gone with it?
I think most likely that would have been the case. Never say never, but yeah, I think if there was no COVID, that they would still be portraying Roman like they were. I mean, could he have been more? Yeah,
we would have gotten Roman Reigns versus Goldberg.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it still could have happened, but I don't know. I think we might not have ever seen this bloodline thing.
You know what? If say COVID didn't happen and Roman Reigns was a face, maybe him facing Goldberg at WrestleMania could have started this whole tribal chief thing and kind of like started it that way.
Yeah, it could have.
But
so let's be. I mean, I'm glad it happened. So
we never. Yeah, exactly. It's that timeline where like, what if?
You have entered the Twilight Zone. Yeah.
Yep.
We're off to WrestleMania.
Right. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. He says, seriously, what's stopping WWE from pushing AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, and Big E to the main event? Roman needs credible challengers.
They're not stopping him. I mean, Seth Rollins just had a feud with
He beat Roman Reigns.
Yeah, Drew McIntyre, Finn
Balor, they all had matches with Roman Reigns.
Yeah, they all did, and Vince does not see them as main eventers.
They are going to have another McIntyre and Reigns feud at some point.
They will.
You watch. Guaranteed.
Yeah,
most
I think
likely.
They will be feuding later this year in 2022.
McIntyre right now has to deal with Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin.
Didn't we get that like a couple months ago?
What?
Madcap versus Drew McIntyre?
That was at day one.
That was at day one.
At day one. Okay, thank you. I was like, seriously?
It was last month, yeah.
We're doing this again?
All right. Mr. Anderson sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. He says, Big G's cat versus one of Aaron Rift's cats at WrestleMania 39 book events. What are you, Psycho Jet Black now with your jokes?
Virtue, would Vince Russo book that?
Catnip on a pole match.
I still think they should, like the kickoff show, have like instead of the puppy bowl, you have the kitten bowl or the kitten mania.
Kitten mania.
There is an adorable video online where two people, this person had both their cats were in a WWE toy ring wrestling around, and people just started trolling in the comments saying that they put on better matches and shows than what WWE is producing. I was like,
probably because it was shorter.
Tony Khan might sign.
It was adorable.
Hey, Tony Khan might sign him.
They're gonna go all elite. Oh
Right,
Lord.
So Virtue, we are caught up with all the comments about the Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar situation. Although Psycho Jet Black just came in now with $2. He says, imagine WWE pushing Madcap Moss against Roman Reigns. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
Paul Heyman said that Madcap Moss has some real potential. They got to get him out of this comedy gimmick. But Heyman thinks there's something in Madcap Moss, and maybe he's right. We'll see.
If he stopped telling these stupid jokes.
I mean, Psycho Jet Black, you and Madcap Moss have a lot in common. They
say comedy is subjective, even if it's scripted.
Right.
Go back to Rick Moss.
So, Virtue, we have a couple of After Dark super chats now. Walter Cruz sent in $5. He says, what's your opinion on doing an MMA stable, Lesnar, Riddle, Shayna Baszler, and Ronda Rousey all as heels and just dominate the WWE?
Bring in Dana White and have him lead and take over the company.
That would be interesting. I don't think they're going to do that, but I would not rule it out. I would not mind Shayna Baszler being Ronda's heavy, though, and having her kind of like be a Diesel type of role.
I would like that, yeah.
I mean, again, the tease of Shayna versus Ronda, that probably the biggest money match for the sports audience that you could book on Fox under WWE.
But that's if, WWE wants to push Shayna, but...
You already know the answer to that question.
If they're gonna put the title on Ronda for a whole year until 39, they're gonna need challengers, and that's definitely a natural feud you can build up, and you can show all the stuff behind the scenes of WWE of their friendship and everything. I think they did a really good video package with Raquel and who did she face again? Rhea. Yeah, they actually showed photos and videos of their friendship before WWE. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could also bring in the MMA stuff between Shayna and Ronda as well.
Yeah, maybe even bring in Dan Lambert.
Possibly.
Although he can't say shit on WWE TV. Well, he could actually. Bobby Lashley.
He wouldn't give a damn. He
would. They just need to get him away from Brandy Rhodes. So.
Yeah.
I agree. Paige Van Sant, break Brandy. That's all I gotta say.
All right, Mr. Tito, former NoDQ columnist, retired.
And future NoDQ columnist.
Says, after dark thoughts on Nintendo Direct. Well, Virtue, I know we talked about this a little bit before we went live. Any thoughts you have on it real quick?
I mean, there's going to be 48 new Mario Kart 8 courses coming up from past stuff they're going to redo. And a Mario Strikers soccer game type thing that looks pretty cool, I mean,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like I told you, I like the Mario Kart tracks being added. I don't have an issue with them not doing Mario Kart 9 because hey, we got the online membership. It's free.
And we won't have to pay for it. Yeah.
Right. And even people that have to pay for it, it's $25 for 48 new courses versus paying
$60.
It was definitely the highlight of the Direct for me. I mean, you basically talked about the other stuff.
The Kirby game looks awesome. Like I can't wait for that new 3D Kirby game.
A mouthful mode. Interesting.
All right.
Check this out myself.
Jed Black sent in a $5 super chat. Says, try to see it my way. Do I have to keep talking till I can't go on? While you see it your way, run the risk of knowing that our love may soon be gone. We can work it out. We can work it out. I got that.
He hit Aaron right at the heart. The Beatles.
That's a great song. All right. So thank you for that. And on that note, we can now start doing our plugs.
All right. I'm going to start with you, Noah. Happy birthday.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, gentlemen. Looking forward to the next time we do this. Folks, I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and at Foster1916. We only wish to encourage you to just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling, and don't live in your damn phones either, too. Simple as that.
Well said, Noah. And by the way, Noah, remember this clip?
Country redacted.
Well, thanks for being on, Noah, on your birthday. And also, thanks for being on your birthday, son. Over to you for your plugs.
Appreciate it. Always a pleasure to talk pro wrestling with you, gentlemen. All right, so you can find all my content on YouTube. So there you see a screenshot of my upcoming short film that is anime inspired, Battle of Deception. You can follow my filmmaking and acting journey, tons of on-screen acting videos, tons of voice acting videos, and I do Dragon Ball discussion videos as well as WWE reviews, all of which on my YouTube channel. And follow me on my other social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. There I will post behind the scenes video footage so you can see what I have coming in the works. Once again, like I said, always a pleasure to talk pro wrestling with these gentlemen here at NoDQ. Always keep supporting NoDQ, and this was great to spend my birthday with you all here on this live stream. Thank you.
Good to have you here. And Big G was very happy to be here for two people's birthday. He doesn't get invited to many birthday parties, so
no.
Big G.
No. Yes, you can follow me at nodq.com/BigBallerG. That's my Twitter page. And if you happen to have TikTok, you can follow me there at BigBallerG1988. I have over 6,000 subscribers on there or followers. on TikTok. So that is it for me.
All right, good to have you here. And of course, Aaron Rift, anything for No DQ?
Just stay tuned for all the latest. We got Elimination Chamber coming up next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We will be doing predictions for the pay-per-view Elimination Chamber taking place in
Country Redacted.
Gets me every time.
And if you want to hear it live, we'll be doing coverage of Elimination Chamber in the country of.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. What? Oh, wait. We're still talking about Country Redacted. Seriously, can we quit talking about Country Redacted? This is starting to get a bit overkill.
And Mr. Anderson wanted to say happy birthday to Noah and son.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's all I got. Big G, when's your birthday?
April.
All right. Well, April, we got to do a special video. Is it on a Thursday this year by any chance?
I'm not too sure. It might be.
Well, if it is, we should definitely do a little party just like we did tonight.
Oh, it's a Tuesday this year.
Aw. Well, maybe we'll have a predictions video or something. Anyways, Virtue?
No, mine's on a Monday. No, Sunday. Mine's on a Sunday. Anyway, my birthday's October 30th. All right, so thanks for watching the NoDQ Review 174. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue. Get the merch like that shirt right there on NoDQ.com/merch. That's it for Aaron Rift, for Big G, and for the birthday boys, Noah Foster and Son. I am Virtue, and we will see you again next time. Thanks for watching.